Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning. How are we? Good morning, Jamie. Morning, Faisal. How are you? How are we doing today? Let me move all my stuff off my desk. Right, okay, so we are carrying on with the duck, and today I'm going to try and get this quite dark section done under the duck's head, neck. Yes. So how are we? Morning, Hayley. How are you? How are you all doing? Right. I'm just going to use this Payne's Grey to just outline where I want this to be. Let me have a little black section there. This bit goes. I'm just sort of trying to map out where all the iridescent feathers are on the neck. Have this little section down here. Okie dokie, okie dokie. You're good, less sleepy and more awake today, but your shoulder hurts. Oh, why? What have you done? What have you done to your shoulder? Morning, Artsman. How are you? Good. Yeah, not doing too bad. My arm hurts today, but I had a COVID jab yesterday, so that's probably why. It was really quite funny. I went to our local chemist to sort of have it done, and it was actually, I met the guy doing it was amazing. He was obviously the pharmacist and obviously trained, and I went in and I felt the little alcohol swab go. Sounds sus. They do it here. They do it here in the UK. So I felt the little alcohol swab go on my arm, and then that was it. And suddenly he was pushing his wheelie chair back away from me. He went, "There you go, you're done." And I was like, "Have you done it?" And he went, "Yeah." I said, "I didn't feel a thing." And he looked at me really seriously and he said, "Well, that wasn't the real one. The real one's at the back." He says, "The needle's like this big and it goes in this arm and it comes out this arm." And he just looked at me expectantly and I was just like, "Yeah, I think I'll give that one a miss. Thanks." And I literally walked out of there back to my car thinking, did he really just give me a jab? Because I honestly did not feel anything apart from, just the alcohol swab just sort of like cleaning my arm. And I was like, are they like conning people that they don't actually have a jab? You think you've had a jab and it's like that whole placebo effect. And I thought maybe it was that, but no, my arm does actually hurt today. So it was really weird. But yeah, I usually get it done at my doctor's surgery. But during the whole initial campaign, when people were having their first jabs and everything, we went to They were doing it in various community centres around the area, and also in like church halls and everything, because they were big enough spaces for them to sort of queue people up and have space for people to sit for 20 minutes afterwards, because you weren't allowed to leave for 20 minutes in case you had like a reaction. So so I've been to those a couple of times, but this was the first time I'd had it done in a pharmacy. Um, yeah, sometimes you don't feel it, but I'd sort of like kind of said in my head that I would, because I was like, it's a chemist. How often does a chemist get to jab you? Normally they stand behind a counter and, you know, check medicines. They probably enjoy getting to do a little bit of hands-on stuff. But it's that whole thing, isn't it? Of if you want someone to do your blood test, you get a phlebotomist or you get a nurse to do it. You don't get a doctor to do it, because doctors don't do it very often. So I was kind of like thinking this is going to hurt because the pharmacist doesn't do this very often. But there was a queue of people, so they'd obviously got quite a session on yesterday of appointments of people going in for that. So you get jabbed every couple of weeks for your stuff. Oh, okay. I mean, maybe he is an ex nurse. Who knows? But you have to do a lot of years training to study to become a pharmacist. Isn't it like the same amount of time as a doctor? Isn't it like 5 years or something to be a chemist? I'm sure it is. Let me Google. How long does it take to train to be a pharmacist? How long is pharmacy training? 4 years, although there are a couple of 5-year sandwich courses which include a year in the workplace. So yeah, same sort of amount of time as doctors. Which makes sense, I guess, because there's so many medications, there's so many drug interactions, there's so many side effects. You've got to still know about physiology and, the human body, because people go in there and say, well, I have COPD and I have this and I have that. Can I take this medication? I already take XYZ medications. You had a jab when you were at school. She stuck the needle in, let go to get something. Let go while the needle was in. My muscle twitched and the needle moved and almost came out. She had to quickly grab it with. Oh my God, Hayley. She should never. When you've got a needle in a patient, you never let go of it. Especially not to reach for something else. Oh my God. That's crazy. Because I was imagining if you were at school, it was probably just an inoculation for something. So why did she have to leave the needle in? Or was she like reaching for like cotton wool or something? I mean, she should have had that ready. Does that make you worried about needles and things, or does it not bother you? Needles don't bother me. Right, okay. So this is really quite dark. It's got absolutely no detail in it whatsoever except for this section here and maybe a little bit here. It's just this highlighted part. It's can I lighten it? Can I edit the photo? Let me just see if I can just edit this reference photo light. Wow, okay, so even when I turn the light really far up, let me show you. Even when I turn the light really far up, look, that section is like jet black. Okay, so there's nothing. Right, okay. I'm going to keep going with this Payne's Grey, even though it is black. I'm going to put in this Payne's Grey first because the Payne's Grey has got some blue in it, and because we've got this blue-greeny tinge here, I'm hoping that will sort of show through some of the black, if that makes any sense. Just sort of gives something to the black, so it's not just a solid black colour. You can't remember what she was reaching for, but you're fine with needles. Just felt ill after that one. Yeah, I bet. That's just pinged. Someone just sent me a message. Hang on. Rover the Red Hound. Rover the Red Hound. What's Rover the Red Hound? That's something I'm going to have to Google. Hang on. Let me get some paper. Rover the Red Hound. Oh, you made it up. Right, okay. I thought it was something like Clifford the Big Red Dog or something like that. Rover the Red Hound. Well, I guess I better draw him in red then, hadn't I? Let me get a red pencil. Rover the Red Hound. Oh my god. Actually, let's do it just sounds like a cartoon character, so I'm going to do it like a cartoon character. Do I do like a big tongue hanging out? That might look weird. This almost looks orange. Never mind red. Okay, yes, someone is pinging me. can have Goofy Rover, the red hound. There you go. It's so bad. Rover, the red hound. It's just so bad. Oh dear, never mind. Right, what was I doing? Oh yeah, I was going to check to see what these messages were. Hang on. Oh right, okay, Mango's prescription. We have a poorly Mango at the moment. She there was something clearly wrong with her yesterday. And for those that don't know, Mango is my daughter's Yorkshire Terrier. She's 11 years old. The Yorkshire Terrier, not my daughter. And she just wasn't herself. You can always tell when she's not herself because she goes quiet, she curls up in a ball, she doesn't really do much, she doesn't want to go outside. And you know when she's truly, totally not well because she'll stop eating. And she was still eating, so we weren't too worried about her. But when it got to about tea time last night, about 5 p.m, Becca noticed that she was feeling quite hot. So her ears were really warm, her nose was dry, and if you touched her, you could feel that she was quite warm. And so she was, every now and again she'd sort of like be shivery or shaky or something, and it was like, oh, she's probably got like a doggy fever or something like that. And I was like, well, we'll keep an eye on her. She still ate her tea, and she'd had her dinner during the day, and she'd kept it all down, so you know there was no sign of sickness, there was no sign of diarrhea or anything like that. And so we're like, oh, you know, I'm sure it'll be like a 24-hour thing and it will pass. And Becca does act like an 11-year-old. Faisal, oh my gosh. We thought, yeah, it will probably pass, and she'll start to feel better. Well, I woke up this morning, guys, and I'm always the first one down in the morning because in my little family of 6 people, I am the only lark. All the rest of them are owls, and so I invariably get up first. And when I woke up this morning, I stepped outside of my bedroom and sort of went, what's that smell? And I knew, trigger warning for those that don't like to hear about stuff that comes out of the body. I could smell that someone had not been very well. And it was dark, and I thought, do you know what, I think I ought to switch on the light, because normally I would just sort of stumble down the stairs in the dark, you know, eyes all sort of not quite awake yet, and just sort of have my hand on the banister and sort of feel my way down. And this morning I thought, it smells like I need to put the hallway light on because I don't want to step in anything. And I'm very glad that I did, because I switched on the light, and down the stairs, down like 3 or 4 stairs, was throw up. And I can't deal with vomit. I really can't. I can deal with everything else: diarrhea, phlegm, mucus, arms hanging off, blood gushing everywhere. Doesn't bother me one bit. But throw up, I cannot deal with. And it was down 3 or 4 of my stairs, soaked into the carpet. And I was like, oh my God, sort of thing. So walked past it, opened the back door so that the dogs and the cats could go out. And sorry if this is TMI, guys, but I'm just sort of trying to tell you what sort of start I had to my morning. And I was like, oh, Mango, you poor little thing, this must be yours, sort of thing. And as I got to the bottom of the stairs, there was this big, not still steaming pile of the other end, to put it politely. And that's what the smell was. And I was just like, oh no. You know when you've not even had chance for a cup of tea or a bit of breakfast and you're half awake and that's the first thing that you have to deal with. Was not very pleasant. So I fed the cats, fed the dogs. Mango seemed to want her breakfast and she's ate that and she's kept it down. But once I'd done that, I then had to sort of get my gloves on, get the antibacterial stuff, bags, clean it all up. And oh my god, the whole time, if anyone had a microphone on me then, all they would have heard was, oh god, oh dear, oh this is disgusting. And the worst thing about diarrhea from an animal is that yes, it smells bad, but it smells worse when you move it. You know, when you have to gather it up to get rid of it. And it was just like, oh, the smell. I wanted to open all my windows and doors, but it was so freaking cold, I couldn't do that. So Febreze it had to be. Other air fresheners are available, but Febreze it had to be. And yeah, so now my hallway smells fresher and nicer. But oh my god, that was the start to my day, chat. So not a happy bunny this morning. Oh my god. And it really put me off my breakfast, you know. You hope she feels well soon. Yeah, I'm sure she will. I mean, she looked happy enough to want her breakfast, so you know, I'm hoping that means that she's on the mend and that it doesn't happen again. But if it does happen again, at least now it's the daytime and Nick is awake, so it's just his responsibility, I'm afraid, or Becca's. Yeah, poor Mango. At least I didn't step in it. Yeah, well, exactly. That's why the light went on, because I could smell it the second I left my room. And it was just, ugh. You with the opposite. Oh, Haley. I remember as a child stepping in doggy doo-doo once. That's the official term, doggy doo-doo. And feeling it squelch between my toes. Sorry, guys. Yeah, that, oh. So I've always been very careful since. Right. Oh, I know what to say. Let me just double check. Yeah. So, Natalie. It's Natalie here? Have we seen Natalie this morning? No, not yet. So Natalie did a duck drawing in the drawing challenge, and so did Becca. I think Becca did 2. So I was very happy that people did their ducks. If you haven't seen them, go check them out. They're very good. I think they did ducklings. They did like little tiny baby ducklings. That was really, really sweet. And I really like those. I think today's... What is today's challenge in the Discord? Is it zombie? I think it's zombie for today. So even if you didn't do yesterday, guys, you can join in at any time. So if you want to do a zombie... And if you want to copy off a copyrighted image or whatever, it's fine, because it's just going to be in our Discord. It's not like it's going out into the world anywhere. So if you want to try and copy off something or trace or just do your own interpretation, and I think it would just be fun just to see it, just for you all just to join in and have a laugh. Right, okay, I think I need to go in with a dark... I might go in with the cold grey 6. Just because this one is quite dark, before I go in with the black. Your one was short-lived. What one was short-lived? I didn't see... Did you do a duck, Jamie? I didn't see a duck. You forgot to do the duck yesterday when you got home. Well, that's okay. You can just join in with today's, or you could do a duck later if you wanted. But you deleted it. Oh, come on, Jamie. Don't delete. Share. I think I'll put in the iridescent feathers that are on the throat. I think I'll put them in last. Just try and get some of these darkness in over this throat. I appreciate that this bit is the most interesting, but unfortunately having a large patch of darkness, there isn't really much detail I could focus on. I'm just sort of trying to cover the white tooth of the paper. Can you see on... Yeah, you can see on screen like all these like little white bits, and that is just the tooth of the paper showing through. I wonder if I try and go in with my blending pencil, if that will just sort of help spread the colour into the tooth a little bit before I add the black. Because there is literally, as you saw when I tried to highlight the reference photo, that even with the light turned up to maximum, there wasn't even any detail in that section of the neck. So it's just going to be like really no white highlights, no sunlight shining off of it. So I need to just shave the top of this. Jamie, it was good. Why did you... Oh, so Hayley, you saw it. So you saw Jamie's duck. It was embarrassing. Can't have Becca's and Nat's and then your one after it. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter people's different ability levels. It's just it's the taking part that counts. I'm just sharpening this paper stub just to take the colour off the end of it. It's got yellow on it. And try not to cut myself in the process. I'm using one of these handy little craft knives. I bought that little knife when I bought it when I was used to paint all my little Warhammer and things like that, because sometimes when you get all the little pieces, they come on these like little plastic grids, and you have to sort of like loosen the pieces off, and it leaves little stubs. And so that little knife was good just for sort of like shaving off the bits that sort of stuck out, so you had smooth edges. I'm sure you all probably knew that. I don't know why I said that, but I don't know how it looked like he had anxiety. You could see it in his eyes. Well, you know, the duck was probably part of the anxiety gang. You know, he's in the best place then, with people that understand. I mean, kind of, if you look at the reference photo for this duck, he kind of looks like he's got a little bit of anxiety. It's kind of like going, hello? Hello? Who are you? Who are you and what are you doing? I'm trying to capture your likeness, my friend. Yes, happy Halloween, everybody. Happy Halloween. I should have wore my witch's hat or something, but then I wouldn't have got my headphones on. This isn't really getting over all of that tooth. It's getting some of it, but not as much as I would like. I mean, sometimes the tooth of the paper can work with you. So like, we do have this sort of ripply effect from the feathers that sort of comes down in the neck that's got the highlighted colour in it. So it does actually look like feather texture. But I would rather have the colour there. Right, did I put my knife away? No, I did not. So is anyone going out trick-or-treating? I can't remember the last time I actually took the kids out trick-or-treating. They got very quickly bored of that. Jack liked it once because we took him out, and at this one house they weren't offering kids sweets, they were offering them hot dogs, and he actually got a full hot dog in a roll, and he loved that. And he always, whenever he talks about Halloween, he always talks about the house that gave him a hot dog. Actually, this colour is going on a little bit better now that I've just blended that in, so actually maybe that has helped. I think that was the best house, as far as Jack was concerned, that we went to. The hot dog house. You're doing it, Amy, you want a hot dog. Yeah, I'll have to get Nick to take you out, because he was the one who took Jack out that year. I've lost count of the amount of times that I was out with the kids. And my understanding of Halloween and trick-or-treating is that if there is a house that's got a pumpkin outside of it, a lit pumpkin, that means they're taking part in Halloween. And I would go with Jack, get him to knock on the door. I would stand back on the pathway and get him to knock on the door if there was a house that was decorated and had a pumpkin, a lit pumpkin outside. But the amount of times we would knock at the door, and even though there was lights on inside the house, no one would answer the door. And I would really be confused by that. Like, well, why are you all decorated and ready for Halloween and advertising that you're ready for trick-or-treaters? That was always my understanding of it. So that was always really quite annoying when that happened, because Jack would always be quite disappointed, because trying to explain the concept of Halloween to an autistic child when he was much younger was difficult, because he didn't like strangers. He didn't like talking to strangers. And obviously, you know, you raise your children telling them you don't talk to strangers, you don't accept gifts off strangers, and you know, you insert this message into their brains so that they stay safe and everything. And then you get this one night of the year where you say, well, actually Jack, it's quite safe for you to not only go up to strangers, but to knock on their door and pretty much ask for them to give you sweeties. And I think for the first couple of years, he just sort of played along, because we were like, well, we're taking you trick-or-treating because it's Halloween and that's what you do with your children. And the first few years, I think he just played along. He didn't really get any enjoyment out of it. But it wasn't until he was like 13 or 14 that he actually started to really enjoy Halloween, because he was much more confident in himself as a person, and he was good at establishing his own boundaries and things. And then, of course, just as he started to really enjoy doing it, he got too old to do it. So, yeah. So who's got a pumpkin? Who's carved a pumpkin this year? And who's ready for trick-or-treaters tonight? Doing it near you, I want a hot dog. Nick got the hot dog luck. Yep. You hate opening the door on Halloween, you always hide. I think this is the first year in, well, since we've had kids that we haven't actually got a pumpkin. Because the last few years we've done the whole thing. We've bought the pumpkins, we've carved them, we've stuck them outside, we've bought loads of sweets, and the last few years we've been lucky if we've had one person knock on the door. And it's just been like, the first couple of years when we first moved here, we got Halloween people all the time, trick-or-treaters all the time, and it was great fun to see what the kids are dressed up as, and it was just really sweet, you know. And then we went from one year in which we got like 12 or 13 or 14 knocks on the door that evening, and the next year we went to nothing. And in the years after that, it's been like one person has knocked on the door, and we have not been giving out bad treats. We were buying really nice treats. And invariably, we just ended up eating the treats ourselves because no one was coming to the door. So, I don't know. So we've not done it this year. Watch this year. Watch someone knock on our door even though we've got no pumpkin and we've got no sweeties. Watch someone knock on our door. I know Nick will panic this afternoon and just get some just in case. Because he's like that. Right, okay, I think I can go in with a bit of black now. Unfortunately not doing Halloween this year, but I hope to do it next year. The dog barks too much and still training as she's getting better. Yeah, that is a thing when the dogs start. Seems weird seeing this ducky with the neck. I think it was so long I was focusing on the head. Right now he's got a bit of a neck. Wind your neck in. Just trying to get these last bits of white that I can see. They're quite strong. Oh, I tell you what I watched yesterday, chat. Itch. On BBC iPlayer, they have this 3-part series called Time. And they did one last year, and it's about these people that go into prison. It's a fictional. It's not a documentary or anything, and it's just about people doing time in hospital and their story and everything. And last year they did one with Sean Bean in it, and it was good. It was okay. It wasn't anything stunning or a masterpiece in theatre or anything like that. It was an interesting story. And this year they've done it again, and this time it's no spoilers, but it's got Jodie Whittaker in it, who played Doctor Who, and quite a few recognisable faces. And it's about these 3 different women that are in hospital. It's Jodie Whittaker and The young girl from The Last of Us. I'm blanking on her name. Can't think of her name, but it's her and this other lady. And they're all in prison for various things. And oh my god, I started it yesterday and watched all Bella Ramsey. Thank you, Hayley. There we go, Bella Ramsey. And I started watching it yesterday just before I went for my COVID jab. And when I got back, I watched all 3 episodes back to back. I was absolutely hooked on it. And the ending episode, I'm not ashamed to say, had me in tears multiple times. Multiple times. It was so emotional and heartbreaking and just, it was amazing. If that doesn't get some sort of national television award or something like that, I will be deeply, deeply shocked. It was amazing. So if you get the chance to watch the season 2 of Time with Jodie Whittaker, Bella Ramsey, I implore you to watch it if you like that type of thing. I think I've said to you before, I like anything to do with prisons. I don't know why. I'll watch anything if it's about prisons. Have I finished watching Liar? No, I'm about 3 episodes into season 2, where they're trying to obviously find his killer. And I think I've just got to the bit where the prime suspect, Joanne Froggatt, she's just been arrested for it. I like the detective in it. Is it Catherine Ryan? She used to be in Coronation Street, and she plays the detective in it. And even though she's like tough and uncaring, and she has some questionable methods of working, I really like her as an actress. I think she really brings a lot to the role. So no, I've not finished watching that either. I got distracted by Time. Season 2 is better than season 1. Oh, right, okay, because I really enjoyed season 1, so that'll be interesting then. No spoilers, don't tell me how it ends, or I still have no idea who did it. I have my suspicions. Right, okay, so I think I can go in with some black now. Do you know, this really unnerves me doing this section all in black, because it's just, because there's literally no detail. I'm like, do I actually try and improve on the photo and try and put detail in, or do I just shade it all black? I feel like if I just try and shade it in all black and just have this nothing section, while this section is so detailed and this bit at the bottom will be detailed, it's just going to look weird to have this blob in the middle. So I think I might actually try and put some texture into it, because it can be my own interpretation of the drawing, right? As long as it's still a duck at the end of the day. I can still see where I've smudged dirty bits. That's really annoying because I want a clean edge there. You love the mystery of who it could be. I mean, yeah, I mean, at the moment, I'm quite early into it. They've set up so many people who it could be, so many suspects. I mean, at the moment, my strong feeling at the moment is that, and I could be wrong, and I'm happy to be wrong, so I'm sure you know who it is, but I think at the moment that it is the girlfriend or the wife of the police detective from season 1, the lady that was in the army. I think it's the wife of the detective, but I could be wrong and you could be laughing at me right now. And that's fine, you can be laughing at me, but that's who I think it is. But don't tell me. I think actually if I come up backwards, that layers it better. Correct. Thanks, Jamie. No, I'm not too thrilled with just changing the subject, with how these feathers look on this duck. But to say I've not done iridescent feathers before, I kind of feel, I mean, looking at the picture on the screen, I'm kind of thinking, yeah, you know, I can see it's got this nice gleamy bit here and that little bit on the top of the head. I might stick some blue up there, but it's like, yeah, okay, you can see that that's got a little bit of gleam to it, but it's not come out how I hoped it would. But persevering on, carrying on, even though I'm not 100% happy with it, because it's all about the challenge, right? It's all about trying something new and stepping out of my comfort zone and giving it a try. Because if I just kept doing safe drawings that I knew I could do all the time, that's not going to stretch me or make me better, is it? So I'm like, that's okay that it's not perfect. It's okay that it's not 100% like the picture, because I gave it my best shot that I could do at the time. Becca said to me it'll be really interesting that a year or so into this, because I've only been doing this since May, so a year into it, maybe come back and redo one of my earlier pictures. So I think I've mentioned before, I think I would quite happily come back and redo Derek, the golden retriever, the very first piece that we did on here, because it would be interesting to compare the two just to see how much improvement I've made, if any. If any, I mean, who's to say, you know? No, I know you've never seen it. Yeah, a Derek redo. It might be, but not until next year, you know? Because I do want to, I really strongly need to practice doing longer fur. And I know I need to practice feathers on birds. You can't really see feathers properly on this duck, to be fair. But feathers on birds and long-furred animals, I feel, are my nemesis at the moment. That's where I know for sure that my weaknesses are. And that's okay. That's okay for me to have a weakness. Because I'm trying to do something about it. So it would be interesting to sort of go back and see how I make something look with a bit more experience under my belt. Because Derek had that really sort of shaggy ear, didn't he? And even though I'm happy with Derek as he was, excuse me, when we first did him, I was very happy with him. But I've looked at him since and I can see that I would do the nose differently, I would do the eyes differently, I would definitely try and do that ear differently, because that ear was really shaggy, and I felt like in that original picture I feel like the ear is the bit that let it down. Because I'm hypercritical of my own work. If you haven't already guessed, I am hypercritical of my own work. I think we all are hypercritical of the things that we do ourselves. We will, you know, encourage other people, but when it comes to ourselves, I think we're all harsher on ourselves than we actually need to be, maybe. But I would like to go back and do Derek. I think that would be a fun one to do, especially since he was the very first piece that we did on the stream. When you guys joined me for the first time. I think I can afford to go for like some solid black initially under the beak here, just to sort of put in that shadow that there would naturally be from the beak, and then I'll just sort of try and add in like some feather patterning. I've got another physio appointment this afternoon for my foot, so that'll be fun. Every time I go to the physio, I come back with new exercises to do, more homework to do. It's like being at school. It's like PE homework. What were you guys like when you got homework at school? Were you the type that sort of, because I was always the type of get it out of the way, do it straight away, get it out of the way so you don't have to think about it, you haven't got it hanging over your head. What were you guys like? Did you do the same thing, or did you sort of leave it to the last minute, or just not do it at all? I was too scared to not do the homework because I was too scared of getting into trouble. But what were you guys like? Always last minute. Faisal. I did it the lesson before it needed to be handed in. Yeah, I know a few people like that. Perhaps I was the only one then. But I could always remember having like I'd be given loads of homework in the last week of school before we had the 6 week break, and I'd know that I'd have like English homework, biology homework, history homework, German homework to be done in the 6 week break, which really used to annoy me. And so I would spend the first couple of days of a 6 week break just knocking out, sitting at the kitchen table and knocking out all the homework so it was all done, so I didn't have to think about it for the entire 6 weeks. I didn't have to worry about it, and I could enjoy the rest of my holiday all the time. Most of the time I just didn't do it and said I left it at home and hoped they'd forget the next day. You didn't say your dog ate it. The dog ate my homework. I remember my dog did actually once eat my German, the book, not the textbook, but the book that you used to write in. And I remember getting up one morning, and my books had been on the side, ready to go into my school bag for the next day. And my dog Bonnie, she had chewed the edges of it, and where it had been in her mouth the night before, it had got really, really soggy, and so all the edges of the pages had sort of stuck together and were all curled up and had got like puncture marks in there from her little puppy teeth. Can't be blaming your poor innocent dog. Oh, yeah. No, it's never the dog's fault. Never the dog. Never blame the dog. Do you know what? I saw a Instagram post this morning. I don't know if any of you guys follow the Asher House. It's a guy called Lee Asher, and he has this big dog sanctuary in America. And he's always going to these different dog rehoming places. They sort of call him and say, look, do you have any spaces? And blah, blah, blah. And there was a Instagram post that he put on this morning, and it was of him at this dog home, and he was accepting, I think he accepted in the end 9 more dogs to sort of take back to the rehabilitation place that he has, and he lets them all live with him. And there was some dogs that were being brought out into the area where he was sat waiting to sort of meet them. And there were some dogs that had had the most awful histories, and yet they ran up to him with their tails wagging, because he was like, oh, hello there, hi come here then, good boy, good boy. You know that sort of voice that you talk to animals with? And you could just see they sensed that he was a good person, that he was a nice person, and they would run up to him with their tails wagging. And I just sat there looking at it, and despite having cleared up all that I cleared up this morning, I thought to myself, do you know what? We humans do not deserve dogs. Dogs are just so inherently joyful and happy, and are just always pleased to see you, no matter how much they've been mistreated. They're just like, they're willing to forgive and just forget and just want to be loved and everything. And it was just so nice. I mean, we love animals in our house, obviously. We've got an awful lot of them. But it's like how anyone can be mean or horrible to animals of any kind. I don't get it. I just don't get it. Just like you accidentally didn't pay for the Hubba Bubba. Yes, the Hubba Bubba heist. To be fair, on that day, just winding back, on that day that Bonnie did chew up my book, I had already done the homework. It was just the book had been sat on the side, I'd not put it away. So it was my fault, really. I'd not put the book away in my bag. I knew we had a puppy in the house, and yet I still left it out, so it was my fault. Right. Okay, so I think that's where I'm going to leave it today. And we'll carry on with this shading tomorrow. Maybe get in some of this. We've got some lovely blues and teals and a little bit of green up here. So yeah, I think we'll get in some of the colour tomorrow, make it a bit more interesting. But yes, so there we go. So thanks very much today, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. Pleasure as always to have you alongside me in the stream. You're very welcome. Thank you. And just remember, if you want to join in on the drawing challenge, the details are in the drawing challenge channel on Discord. I think it's a zombie today. I would love to see a horde of zombies on my Discord channel. So it doesn't matter how good you can draw or how bad. It honestly doesn't matter. I think just draw something and add it to the channel for everyone to see. And yeah, I think everyone will like that. Everyone will like that. So anyway, enjoy the rest of your day, guys, and I will go off and have my physio today, and I will see you guys tomorrow for a bit more of Sheldon the Duck. So take care, guys. Bye.